Auxiliary word that we can use for the affirmative side. Are you going to read some of them coming up? Okay, so you are in 4. Okay, the affirmative side. Let's ask Amir, will you read some words for the negative?
Cheating, unfair, all programs,
Maybe AI.
AI, programs, distractions, and disrupt others.
Disrupt is like if there's a disturbance, if you break someone's concentration. Yeah. So if the phone rings and people are focusing, then they get distracted. Okay. So we know that 4 is going to start the affirmative.
Students should not. We're against not.
Yeah, you are against. Students must not. And the affirmative side is students should.
No. They would say students should not use. And we will for the should be.
Correct. Yes, that is right.
I'm just mechanically right. We sometimes.
No.
So you can glance. It's best not to stand and read something.
They will judge you.
Yeah, they will judge you harshly. So you can look at it and then speak to your opponent. You can look at it and reference, but don't just stand and read it. It'll definitely take away your argument. Okay. Let's begin our debate. Students should not be allowed to use smartphones during school hours. Begin with affirmative.
So, we as a team strongly agree that students should not be allowed to use smartphones during school hours. And there are some strong arguments for that. We will list some of them right now. First of all, it's distraction from learning and cheating. Let's imagine school where students only cheat on the tests during school hours. During the lessons, they distract themselves with using social media or chatting with someone, not listening to the teacher speaking. How do you think? Where are their knowledge going to be a good one? No, I don't think so. While students chatting during the class, teacher is giving a crucial information, crucial knowledge, and eventually students became stupid. And remember, the only thing that distinguishes us from animals is a knowledge. The second reason why using smartphone during school hours is a good idea and it's actually harmful is the cyberbullying. Let's imagine if you saw this movie called Gossip Girl. There was a website called Gossip Girl, and all the gossips were posted there, all the secrets revealing there, and it actually makes school a very toxic environment, while school has to have a very pleasant environment where students want to be in. And while students being in toxic environment, all they think about is they're afraid that their secrets will be revealing, or some students will judge how they look, and they do not care about education. And we have to remember that school is a place where you get knowledge and you educate yourself.
Should not be allowed to use smartphones.
Me and my teammates disagree with your arguments and this topic generally, and we got some arguments for our disagree. First argument that that phones make your study much easier. For example, when you misunderstood something, you can just search from internet, or you can in math lessons use calculator in the hard numbers. Next argument, our argument was that in nowadays a lot of schools use online payments in canteens. So and it will be hard that when you cannot pay. Third argument is connection with your parents. For example, when they steal your phone, by the reason that it's lesson, you how can I explain? Your parents cannot connect with you, and they can be worried about you. So the fourth reason is that it upgrades your maybe spy skills. For example, you can cheat better in exams. So, and last argument that how can you explain? Yeah, the teachers can also connect by phone and send you materials from lessons or use special websites like Kahoot for make studying much easier and funnier. And in nowadays, American schools and universities use technologies like notebook and laptops for studying. At last argument, I want to say that we don't think that they should make using phone too free. They should have borders. For example, they shouldn't play video games or sit in social medias. That's all.
Thank you. Now it's time for the cross-examination, the affirmative side. Who's going to do the cross-examination?
So partly we are agree with you, but you mentioned that it will be easier learning, like cheating, using calculator. But don't you think that it will damage your knowledge? For example, your calculator or your, for example, AI or Google are not always can be with you. And for example, what will you do if you want to pass the entrance exam for university and there you can't use your mobile phone? Meanwhile, if you can't use it at school, like cheating, do something, but in the entrance exam you can't because you are not allowed to use your phone. So the next, you said that in USA they are using laptop despite books, but don't you think it will increase the damaging of sight of their eyesight? Because when you look at phone, laptop for a long time, it will reduce your eyesight. And for example, you wear glasses because of you watch a lot of video games, laptop, and use your phone. And you said that it will be funny because if teachers are using the games like Kahoot or this kind of games, but I think it's bad because it's the waste of time, because this game just to play, to having fun, not taking knowledge. And so that's it.
So, as you mentioned before, using our phones damaging our eyesight, am I correct?
Yeah.
So you can damage your eyesight during reading the books also. It's not only about phones, it's about their forms of how we read. This reading messages in 2D. That's why this form of reading messages is damaging. It's not about phones. Also, you said that Kahoot is a waste of time. It's not for accumulating knowledge, but our brain need to break sometimes. So learning, it's not only for hard working, it's also for break times. For evidence, we can say that in Forbes there are research that reveals so that brains enhancing itself during only breaks, not during the hard-working moments. So thus we think that your arguments is not correct enough. So that's all.
Thanks. Do you have any question to address to the affirmative, to the negative side? No. Yeah, you may answer.
So you said that brain needs some rest, but despite this game, teacher may find different, for example, to consolidate the information they, for example, did in the during the lesson. They may not play Kahoot and just to consolidate from another thing. For example, remembering the information from to play a game which conclude to knowledge, not by having fun, because Kahoot is not really to help you to consolidate the information, to remember this. And you said that also while reading books, it may also reduce your eyesight, but the percentage of using phone and reading by phone more than reading by books.
Okay, good response. Well done, nice exchange there. We're going to move on to rebuttal for the affirmative side.
Argument is distraction. We use phones during the lesson. We can message with some friends, or we can cheating, test answers from internet, and this is bad for you, and it is also bad our mental health. You can reduce your eyesight, and also we can
A quick translation break.
cyberbullying also, and you can lose your social skills. For example, only you message for someone, you cannot speak someone face to face. If you use smartphones during the lessons, you cannot pay attention for lesson, and your knowledge is low. You don't understand what the theme was. It's that.
All right, thank you very much for your rebuttal.
As you said, that Kahoot is for only for fun purposes, but I would say that Kahoot is a method of teaching a subject. So, playing a Kahoot, you can learn about your mistakes and improve and face it to the good sides.
Anything else on your rebuttal side? Have you got a response for his rebuttal?
So you said that it may also have advantages by playing Kahoot, but personally in my class we are playing Kahoot, and there's one point that while playing this game the class became noisy, a lot of noise, and which lead to disrespect of teacher. Don't you think so?
Don't you think when teachers made up the game their own, so there are a lot of noise also? Like when the teachers made up their own game to save the information for them to remember it, they create their own, but it's also boring and tiring. Kahoot makes it easier and funnier. And when you play games, your brain focuses on game and remembers the information easily.
Using phones during class can seriously distract the learning. It distracts students, lowers academic performance. It encourages chatting and reduces face-to-face communication. To maintain focus and respect in classroom, it's important to limit phone use during lessons.
Okay. Any final words for the closing? What's your final word, your final sentence for your closing?
So that's why our team think that school shouldn't allow to use mobile phone during the school hours.
You only think.
Okay, so thank you very much. Sorry. The end of the first debate. Now, what we're going to...
It was good, but she provided a strong argument, but she read these arguments, and also she were not so much confident, I guess.
So who do you feel had the better rebuttal? Between the two of you, decide. Who do you think had the better rebuttal?
Camilla.
You think Camilla had a better rebuttal. Why is that?
Because she gave more information than Ibrahim.
Okay. Let's talk about the closing arguments, the final. What about, who gave the closing argument? Was it Malika? Malika gave the closing argument and Azamat gave the closing argument. What do you feel about the closing arguments? So Malika was for and Azamat was against.
I think Azamat's conclusion were better because there was arguments, strong arguments, and also he was confident, and I think he convinced himself.
So
2 minutes later.
we're ready to start our second debate. So we're going to begin with the affirmative side, constructive speech. Remember to introduce yourself, remember to say the topic of the debate, and are you for or against? Let us begin.
Hello everyone, today our topic is television is the lead cause of violence and in today's society, and we agree with this idea. First of all, TV shows too much violence. People every day watch TV, fightings, killings, and crime. So people can think that it's normal. Also, violence look cool on TV, and sometimes bad preachers can look smart and stronger.
Thank you very much for your opening. Okay, now we're going to do the against the motion.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mina. We are disagree with the statement television is the leading cause of violence in today's society, because violence is coming by violence is a complex issue rooted in deeper society problems and morally not what we see on TV. First of all, poverty and unemployment drive crime more than television ever could. People become violent by because of their bad opportunity or other reasons. In addition, in TV, actually, educational TV programs such as documentaries and news reports actually work to reduce violence by raising awareness and promoting peaceful solutions.
Thank you for your opening. Now let's move on to the cross-examination. Who's doing cross-examination for the affirmative side?
So, you mentioned that watching this TV, watching the documentary, this kind of news may lead to some like advantages, but let's take as example kids. Show us some of TV shows or movies has crime sense or 80+ sense, and after watching this in children's view it may seem like it's normal, and also there's some aggressive some aggression sense, and in the children's mind they don't understand anything, and they will think that it's normal and they will do it in their own life. Don't you think so? And also they will try to imitate that, because maybe in the cartoons or movie there are their favorite hero, and the hero may act some aggression, showing aggression or some bad scenes, and after watching the scene children try to copy the movements, emotions, and which leads to like bad consequences. So don't you think so?
Have you got any answers for the cross-examination?
No, we don't think so. That's there are some reasons for that. In every movie, in every animation film, cartoons, whatever, children watch or adults watch, eventually at the end of the movie or cartoon there will be a firmly like saying that this was bad, you should not do this, especially in cartoons. So they make it clear for everyone that was a bad behavior or was a bad choice, or eventually they show that it's not a way, that's not a good way to do it, or that's not a good way to behave. So if only people misconcept this, it's their problem, not the television, and that has nothing to do with making people violent.
So I totally disagree with this point, because not every movies, TV cartoons are showing that at the end that it was bad behavior or such kind of things. Maybe in some like really childish cartoon it may show, but it's like 1% of 100, And then in every movies 18+, it doesn't matter adults or children's watch, they are not like, maybe in 5% of movies it's may mention that it was like bad, but not in every movie on cartoons.
No. I think you misconceived what I was saying. They don't say like with a clear like words it was bad. No, they should.
But they
somehow
not mention that, and
yes,
they are not mentioned.
This person like a violent one, and someone's enemy was doing some bad things, behaving bad. Eventually something bad will happen to him, or he will change at the end of the movie. Like he will understand that his behavior was bad. Eventually, everything comes up being good, or showing that it was bad, it wasn't a good choice. It never just stays the same.
So I'm a person that I'm addicted of watching movies. I watch several type of movies.
Same with me.
And I never ever watch the moment in which they mentioned that. Never.
Let's take if you watch, I don't know, Vampire Diaries. There was a bad brother, Damon. He was behaving bad towards his brother, towards his girlfriend, to everyone actually. And the situation happened, some bad situation happened to him, and he rewatched all his standards, his behavior, and he became like a good one somehow. not a good one. He understood what he was doing was a bad way to do, that he was violent. He changed at the end of the movie. That's how they show that everything that was happening wasn't good. They don't say like it was bad. No, they show it.
So okay, but don't you think that children who will watch this, because yes, I you know that there are some movies in which like mention that 18 plus, but there are some children. It also depends on children. They watch it. They still watch by hiding of their parents, and they don't understand that because they have children's mind and they couldn't understand what happened. They may act like them.
Thank you for an interesting cross-examination. Lots of good points were shared. Let's move on to rebuttal for the affirmative side. Who's doing the rebuttal?
Thank you for your arguments, but we firmly disagree with your points. Not every person plays violent video games or lives in a broken house, but almost every family household has a TV. And you know what? The reality is that violent content is everywhere on television, in news, in movies, in cartoons and shows. Sometimes it's hard to avoid. So. And when violence is shown repeatedly without real-life consequences, it normalizes the aggression.
Good point, thank you very much. Now we'll have rebuttal from the negative side, from the side that disagrees with emotion. Who's doing rebuttal? Did you make the rebuttal? Is it your turn to do rebuttal? You don't feel up to it? You don't feel confident? Okay, we'll move on to the closing. You have your closing ready? Okay. Closing statement. Maybe you can include some rebuttal as well. You can include some rebuttal and then do a closing for your team.
In conclusion, TV show violence, but it's not the main causes. Real causes are poverty, family problems, and lack of education. TV can also teach and help to stop violence. We must fix real issues.
Any final word before the end of your closing?
And we disagree with television is the leading cause of violence in today's society.
Okay, so that will be the end for the against side, for the negative. Now we're having a closing from the affirmative, and then we'll discuss who had the better arguments.
We believe television is the leading cause of violence in nowadays, because on TV a lot of bad movies and news we can see nowadays.
That's why it affects our psychology and mental health. For example, when we watch the violence movie or a violence video, we think about that, and we have a lot of psychological problems. It affects us.
Yeah. Final sentence?
We believe television is the leading cause of violence.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Now let's move on to the judges. Let's talk about the opening statements, the constructive speeches. What did you boys think about the affirmative side?
They had good arguments with examples, and so
you agreed with their arguments?
Yes.
Mostly. What did you feel about the negative side with the against?
I think that as positive as negative sides have both good arguments and ideas, but I think that it's about maybe tell us this information. For example, the positive side spoke louder and they used some emotions.
Were they more convincing for
Yes,
you?
convincing.
All right. Tell us about your ideas about the cross-examination, Dior.
Cross-examination. It was like a war, really. Like a game between the grandmasters.
Okay.
During the chess game, I think. It's hard to me like to make a decision. I think they both act very confident. So I can say something about the opening. I'm giving the point to 14 because against team speaker was looking for her notes maybe 5 times.
So you feel like the presentation was a little bit stronger on the affirmative side? Okay. Ibrahim, what did you think about the rebuttals?
It's also difficult for me to choose
Okay.
two teams, but I actually want to choose this team because they're also more confident and speak well. So I think they win the game.
Okay, so you all agree that the affirmative side were the stronger side this evening?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so the affirmative side are the winners tonight. Good job, girls. Well done. Thank you all. You all participated very nicely. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.